Hello again, everyone. Edwin Lerman back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about the Ascendant in conjunct with South Node in a natal chart. Now, some of you may remember when I first started my YouTube astrology channel, I did a series on the aspects in the natal chart. They're a little bit concise. Some people may have referred to them as snappy. So what I decided to do was make another series on them in which the videos would be a little bit longer and more descriptive. So anyway, first thing up is if you have the Ascendant in conjunct with South Node in a natal chart, well, an adjustment, which is the inconjunct, may be needed between matters associated with new beginnings, which is the Ascendant, and those you are naturally proficient in, which is the South Node. One or the other may be overemphasized. The key is to find balance and equilibrium between the two. So it could be where you're matters pertaining to new beginnings may monopolize and dominate your time and energy to the exclusion of activities in which you are naturally proficient in, doing things you're naturally good at, which is the South Node, or it could be the other way around, doing things you're naturally proficient in can dominate and monopolize your time and energy to the point or exclusion or expense of those connected with new beginnings. So again, it's about finding the balance, the equilibrium, and the harmony with the energy. Because inconjuncts in astrology, well, with inconjunct aspects, there could be a lot of vacillation, fluctuation, and distortion of energy. It's very extreme. One or the other can be strongly emphasized, again, to the point, to the exclusion of the others. So it's really about just finding harmony with this energy and finding that balance and equilibrium with it. Now, if you have, the South Node, say it's in Taurus, the things you're naturally proficient in could simply be, generating money, accumulating possessions, resources. It could be doing things that require self-reliance in general. It may be doing something Taurus-related, whether it be geology, carpet laying, agriculture, architecture, gardening, cultivation, banking, finance, art, or music, as some examples. Now, another way that the Ascendant in conjunct with South Node can manifest in a natal chart is that there may be an imbalance, which is the inconjunct, between activities associated with people prominent in your early childhood and a grandparent, which is the Ascendant, and those that played an integral role in your past, which is the South Node. You may be dominated by one or the other, so it could be that the people that played a prominent role figured prominently in your early childhood and a grandparent may dominate your time and energy at times to the exclusion of those that played an integral role in your past, which is the South Node, or it could be the other way around, if those that were prominent in your past may dominate your time and energy to the point where you put activities connected with those in your early childhood and a grandparent on the back burner, so to speak. So it's about trying to find the balance and the harmony and the energy and trying to disperse the time, evenly with those people. Now, let's say if the South Node is in Capricorn, as an example, one or more of those people that were prominent in your past may actually be a Capricorn Sun, Moon, or Ascendant person, or simply embody the characteristics of the sign. It could be, people that are responsible, ambitious, consistent, structured, disciplined, people that have good planning ability, are very premeditative, organized, may have good business acumen, may be very career oriented, as some examples. And also too, this aspect can also indicate having too much or too little drive and motivation, which is the Ascendant, for things you are naturally talented at, which is the South Node. Now, so there may be times where you have this tremendous, exorbitant amount of drive and motivation for doing things you're naturally good at, or it could be other times where you just are very apathetic in those matters. So again, you have a lot of vacillation, distortion, fluctuation of energy when you're talking about inconjunct aspects in astrology. And the thing is, if the South Node is in Aquarius, as an example, and those things you're naturally talented or good at may be connected with humanitarian, altruistic, selfless endeavors, and maybe doing something associated with astrology, astronomy, computers, electronics, innovation, meteorology, aviation, or even rocket science. In some cases, it might even just simply be building model rockets, in some instances. Now, also, too, another way this aspect may be expressed in the natal chart is that overdeveloped and redundant qualities, which is the South Node, may at times have a very adverse effect on your first impression you make, which is the Ascendant. Then other times it may have no effect whatsoever. So again, you have, where you have this very extreme energy, because at times the overdeveloped and redundant qualities connected with the South Node may really strongly affect, that impression, that first impression you make on others. And other times it may not even have any effect. And, that energy, the overdeveloped and redundant qualities may be such where it just doesn't really, really affect how you're going to come across to others. So it's like if you have the Ascendant, say in Virgo as an example, that first impression that you may, attempt to make on others, maybe one that's very, punctual, reliable, organized, clean, meticulous, analytical, punctilious with details. It may be one, that can be very, intellectual, cerebral, on a first impression, being very precise, with things, as some examples being very systematic and methodical. Now, another thing, too, is that you may vacillate between having an exorbitant or very little amount of vitality, which is the Ascendant, on matters connected with what you need to leave behind, which is the South Node. So there may be at times when you have an exorbitant amount you may expend an exorbitant amount of energy on what you need to leave behind, and other times you just may put it to the back burner, so to speak, and you don't put any energy into those matters. So if the South Node is in Sagittarius, as an example, what you may need to leave behind may be tied in, maybe something about a philosophy or some religion, or it might be just simply targeting one philosophy, as opposed to going in the North Node in a direction which would be, if you have the South Node in Sagittarius, the North Node would be in Gemini, and the North Node in Gemini, of course, would be about expressing manifold beliefs, having a more diverse belief system. So, and those in your environment, which is the Ascendant, may either be extremely auspicious or no help at all, in terms of what you need to get away from, which is the South Node. Now, the South Node is in Aries, as an example. You may need to get away from rather, aggressive or combative or quarrelsome tendencies. There may be a very acerbic or outspoken, nature or qualities that you need to get away from. It could be, constant. It could be just, constant battles, with others. It could be fighting just for the sake of, fighting, or just very impulsive or impetuous type of behavior. And also to people prominent in your past, which is the South Node, may either be extremely propitious and helpful, or very detrimental in matters connected with your environment and new beginnings, which is the Ascendant. Now, let's say the Ascendant is in Taurus, you may desire an environment that's very peaceful, stable, tranquil, and if The Ascendant is in Taurus. New beginnings may be done in a very, methodical, deliberate, and plotting manner, but it may also, be, doing something Taurus related, whether it could be, geology or carpet laying or agriculture, architecture. It may involve something with banking, finance, or art or music, as some examples. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, Edwin Leonard saying stay